Oh yeah, crank it up. I gotta tell you a little story. You ain't gonna believe this, man. Woo!
Straus Project rolls on Farm Rock Atlanta. I'm sitting with Brandon Gibbs. Thank you for taking the time today.
Anytime, no problem.
Okay, let's go through your resume because it's pretty impressive. Tell me what you're doing now.
Well, right now I'm the lead singer of a band called Devil City Angels. We just released our first record, self-titled Devil City Angels, and so it's been nice watching that record go. And the songs are, I believe, are amazing. I had fun writing it, and I also sing with a band called Special Guests, which is basically myself, Ricky Rocket, Bobby Dahl, and CC DeVille. We go out and we do the Poison catalog, and just have a blast. And so we started that last year sometime, and just almost a year to the conception of that whole thing.
So many iconic songs. People can sing them note for note. How do you put your stamp on it?
You know what? I just told those guys when they started talking to me, I will do the best I possibly can, but I will not try and be someone I'm not, and out of respect. And so the fans, I think that's why we have such a good relationship, is I don't try and mock anybody, and but I truly take it serious. So note for note, I'm definitely not a note for note guy, because I believe the original singer did that, a great job of that. So just take it serious and give a little bit of Brandon Gibbs swag, and then close my eyes and hope to God that no one hates it.
And you play the after party every night, both nights here at Farm Rock Atlanta. You also did Farm Rock Chicago.
Yep.
You have a pretty versatile set list every night, where you're not doing your tunes, you're doing some covers and some other songs.
Yeah.
How do you prep for all those different styles?
Well, for these after party things, I started doing them with Ricky Rocket, our drummer, and what we just did was I got in a room with him, and he got out some percussion, and I got out a couple acoustic guitars, and I was like, what do you like other than what we already play? And so we just kind of started there, and I was surprised he was a Johnny Winter fan, and I'm a big blues guy, so we throw in some blues. Some of the other guys that I play with have played with Collective Soul and Stained and other bands, and so I'll incorporate a song from those guys' catalog, and then we'll come up with mine and do another one. So it's these after parties. That's what makes them so fun, is you never know what I'll change it up tonight. I have a set list, but I'll be damned if I follow it. So it's just whoever's with me. We'll go a little bit about their resume, and then we'll go to mine, and then move on.
How do you collaborate like that? How do you do that on such a short notice kind of a thing?
Luckily, I've been blessed because everyone kind of does it on their own too. So they just, you can throw a song at them, and they just kind of already know it or know of it, and so really it's just a quick meeting in the hotel room. That people think a lot of work goes into these after parties. I try and deliver a surprise every night, so the more work I put into it, the less surprise you get. So yeah, it's just great players, I suppose, that I'm surrounded with.
Talk about some of the people that you've played with that may have gone on to some greater success, or some bands or things that you did that didn't succeed, and you had to say, what, I have to move on from this. What did you learn from those things?
Well, I tell you, when I first moved to Nashville, I had a couple songs on ESPN, and I was excited about it. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just write and not do the whole touring thing, and I ended up doing the touring thing. My friends from Cinderella, we went out and did a band called Cheap Thrill, went to Europe, did the whole 9 yards, several cruises. Eventually I kind of had to back away from that concept because I wanted to write more and have a little piece of my soul on a record.
It's interesting you brought up a point about a piece of your soul in writing. When you write, something is so personal, and when somebody looks at you and goes, you know what, that sucks, or I don't like that. How do you deal with that?
Well, for me, I don't. You get a little bit of a rush when someone says they don't like what you're doing, but you also, you give it back to them from time to time, and you really just kind of, it's about the whole song, and that's when the tension gets kind of high in the studio, because we're all fighting for the same goal. We all want the song to be on the radio. We all want the song to do well, or people to love the song. But then it's like, yeah, but I know they'll like it if we do it this way. That gets a little tricky.
As someone who's in front of crowds a lot, I see the cell phone phenomenon. Everyone looking at their phone, everyone checking in, everyone taking pictures, everyone videoing. How do you feel about that as a performer?
I guess I've been there where, like, you're at a concert. For instance, my brother's a big Greg Allman fan. Be at a Greg Allman concert, I'll get out my phone and, Brent, you gotta my brother, you got to see this. He's playing this song. So I get the phone out to share it with him. It's another thing when you just go to a concert and you hold it up and then you throw it on YouTube. It doesn't necessarily move me one way or the other. I would like to connect with them personally. I'd like for them to put the phone in their back pockets, but I understand sometimes it's like, grandma couldn't make it, mom couldn't make it, here you go. So I understand both sides of the story. Me, personally, put the phone in your pocket and get a beer and let's rock. But
sounds good, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight. So thank you so much for taking the time and
hey,
stopping
man,
by.
no problem. Anytime.
It's Brandon Gibbs, Straus Project 2015.